Good morning. Happy Monday morning to everybody. I hope your weekend was great. I had to use this picture. Remember, Harry wanted to interview Putin about his childhood trauma for Spotify. You remember that? All right, we have a lot to cover in this video. Let's jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off this morning. Princess Eugenie, who was seen out and about with Cressida Bonus in Notting Hill. Yes, Cressida, Harry's ex, who is now happily married with a baby. I think it's lovely that she's able to keep up relations with the rest of the family. Moving on. Let's talk about Duchess Sophie. She has finished her visit in France, but some more pictures came out. We know she was there for the inter-service snow sports competition, and she returned to the UK. I love these photos. I love the adaptive skiing. Fabulous. Moving on. Next up, we have her husband, Prince Edward, who handed out the second annual Duke of Edinburgh Film and TV Inclusion Award at the Production Guild of Great Britain's talent show. The winner of the 2024 award was a group called the Million Youth Media. This is an organization that is based in London that gives free training to people, allowing them to access careers in the creative industry and help develop the next generation of filmmakers and underrepresented talent. Lovely. On the 8th, Edward went to a reception at the Institute of Physics to celebrate the publication of a report that was highlighting the contribution that physics made to the green economy. I think Edward's looking good. All right, let's move on now to Queen Camilla. She went out to Salisbury Cathedral in Salisbury, England, because they were having a musical evening celebrating the local charities. This is the first time, by the way, that Camilla stepped out on her own since the king's cancer diagnosis was announced. She did give a quick update. She said, and I'm quoting, "He is doing extremely well under the circumstances. He is very touched by all of the letters and messages the public have been sending from everywhere. It's very cheering." This is pretty cool. While she was there, she saw award-winning concert pianist Rupert Egerton-Smith. He performed alongside the band of the Grenadier Guards and the band and the bugles of the Rifles, which of course we know she is Colonel-in-Chief of the Rifles and Colonel of the Grenadier Guards. Camilla was welcomed by local officials. Then she went into the cloisters where she met dignitaries, frontline staff from the different charities that they were highlighting. Love it. And we also know that Camilla is a supporter and patron of the Wiltshire Bobby Van Trust, the Wiltshire Air Ambulance Charitable Trust, and Community First. I have to tell you, that is a beautiful cathedral, and I'm sure the acoustics in there, it was probably just, chilling to listen to. Now, you should know that she was supposed to go there by helicopter. Something happened to the helicopter. I'm not exactly sure if it was the weather or the helicopter itself, but she ended up driving there. It was 6 hours. And I think that says something about Camilla. She easily could have canceled it and said, we're having technical issues. But no, she drove 6 hours to get there for this concert. If anything, I think that shows her devotion to what she does. And I love the fact that this is the only time she has stepped away from the king while he's been sick. Remember, Philip was the queen's strength and stay. I have to be honest, I feel like that's the role Camilla has. I feel like she's King Charles's strength and stay. After greeting the award-winning pianist at the end of the night, as is usual, she had to sign the guest book so that everybody could see her signature for years to come. And then somebody handed her some beautiful flowers that she was holding as she was leaving the building. Looking good, Camilla. All right, let's move on. Royally Sage put this up on Twitter. I'm shocked, but yet not. Apparently, Watch Charity, they're the ones who keep an eye on all the charities, asked for some paperwork, some financials from Archewell, and they will not respond and they will not release the required documentation. Interesting. Moving on. Now, this is one of our bigger stories for today. We had all heard that they were going to do a Suits spin-off reboot in LA, and they created the perfect role for Meghan, but they're saying that she's not going to return to acting, but instead, she tried to get Archewell involved. That does not shock me at all. The article makes it sound like she was somehow given the chance to be as an actress in this. I don't believe that ever happened. However, Archewell, it turns out, was trying to wiggle its way in as a production company on the spin-off, and NBC totally killed that idea. Now, separate sources in Archewell, according to the article, deny this very vigorously and say that the company, Archewell, would never have been involved in a reboot. Let's not forget that when the Golden Globes took place, the other people that were on this show made it very clear that they were no longer in touch with Megan. And of course, the rumors started to spread, oh, she's going to come back. I knew that she would never go back in front of the screen because to her, that would be a downgrade. Now, Suits creator Aaron Korsh, who has developed the new show, he's the writer and executive producer alongside David Bardis and Doug Lyman and Gene Klein. I have no doubt that Megan tried to wiggle herself in there and they said no. All of these people, by the way, that she worked with who used to be so close to her and who were at the royal wedding but weren't invited to the afternoon reception, who no longer have contact with her, I don't know that they're even going to be in the reboot. But the question is, if they are in the reboot, are they interested in the least in working with Meghan Markle? Because my guess is no, they're not. At the same time, as you guys already know, the Super Bowl reunion commercial came out and she wasn't involved in that either. Do I think she was asked to be in this? No. I don't think anybody wants anything to do with her. I think they've moved on, especially since Meghan made it sound like the whole show was about her, even though she was barely in it. Another big story that's come out is that Prince Harry hired a TV executive as the new CEO for the first winter Invictus Games. Now remember, he and Meghan are going to Canada next week. Meghan has no problem leaving the kids to go for Invictus so she can wear different clothing, but okay. Anyway, the claim is that this guy is going to help them push for a new broadcasting deal. His name is Scott Moore, and he is replacing aide Nick Booth, who was a temporary CEO because he took over during the chaos when the other two bosses were sacked after they complained about the financials and the way things were being run with the Invictus Games. Now, this guy has a reputation for doing big sports TV deals, and he has overseen coverage of numerous Olympic and Paralympic Games, the FIFA World Cup, the Commonwealth Games, things like that. And so the thought is that they want to use him to get a broadcasting deal for Invictus 2025 because with Netflix, of course, getting the first right of refusal, because Netflix, when they did Invictus on Netflix, it tanked massively. It did not do well at all. And I think Netflix has told them we're not doing any more Invictus, so now they're off on their own doing their thing. For those of you who are unaware, it's not just Netflix. Lately, Amazon and Disney have gone out of their way to secure rights to huge sporting events on TV because there's money there, and then there's subscriptions and, things that you can purchase. So now I think Harry and Meghan have decided that since Netflix isn't going to cover it anymore, they're going to move on. Listen, they want this coverage to be like the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games. I don't think that's going to happen, but all right, moving on. All right, I wanted to touch on this. I talked about this the other day. Meghan Markle was not on the Vogue's final cover, even though she guest edited the 2019 edition. We know that her friend was the one that was ending his career there. So everybody just assumed that she would be on the cover, with Victoria Beckham and Gigi Hadid. And, there was some, Oprah was there. You know what I mean? Why wasn't she there? Apparently, she was fighting with people behind the scenes. Is anybody shocked by this? Because I'm not. It's being reported that she clashed with the editorial team, and the article claims that in one meeting, she claimed, and I'm quoting, "I want to break the internet." We know that came from the Kardashians in 2014. Meghan thought very highly of herself, and staff at British Vogue were, they're saying, exasperated while trying to follow her directions. So once again, she acted like a diva and bullied some of the staff, and so they decided not to have her back. Yeah, that's what happens. All right, before we get to our last story of the day, I had to bring this up. It's being rumored that Harry left a bunch of his books as tips for the staff. Maybe that's why he had all those suitcases. Now, we know, of course, that he was papped coming back, and everybody said, oh, the trip must have gone well because Harry was smiling. Well, I think he was smiling for a different reason. The mission was to get attention because even though everybody said he rushed back to Meghan, what was really going on was he then took off to Las Vegas because he was handing out an FNL award. That's right, guys, an FLL award. He doesn't know anything about football. He has no connection to these people, but since they couldn't get seats to the football game and they couldn't be in any of the commercials, they managed to wrangle this little thing for Harry to do. So Harry gets in front of the mic. By the way, he says nothing about his dad or his visit to the UK, and he says, and I'm quoting, "I really love how you stole rugby from us and you made it your own. Instead of passing the ball backwards, you pass it forwards. And why not wear pads and helmet, or why wear them? Of course, having offense and defense, and why not take a breather every 15 seconds? Instead of a 10-month season, let's just make it 18 weeks. Genius." Yes, that was his joke. And this is the reaction from the people in the audience. Not kidding. I gotta be honest, if anything, this confirms to me that flight to the UK where his family were told he was coming over, he didn't make any arrangements, and then he flew home after a 12-minute visit, that was a complete setup. So he meets the guy that's getting the award, he hands it over, he fist bumps him, they shake hands, and they act like they're best friends. I'm not going to lie. Let me tell you what I see here. I see a prince of the realm whose wife convinced him that they could live independently, that they would have people falling at their feet, that they would have multi-million-dollar deals, that they would be the kings of the world. And it just didn't go that way at all. Now, of course, the PR are coming out about the fact that, Harry went to the UK to see his dad. That's what this was all about anyway. It was about PR. We know this. But the PR has gone crazy. Harry dubbed Princess Diana of our time. Harry on top form? What? Let me tell you what I see. I see a very photoshopped Harry in this picture because look at him there and look at him here. Now let me show you something else I noticed. Harry is out of his league. I want you to watch this little clip. He's on stage. He's tucking in his shirt, and take a look at his hands. Despite the fact that he's obviously very nervous, look at his hands. This is what he's doing while he's giving a speech. That's how nervous he is and out of his depth and element. Somebody needs to do something with this man. Give him some Ativan or something. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check. Make sure you are still subscribed. Don't forget the links to my Twitter, my Gettr. Don't forget to my Patreon, my coffee fund. And if you've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.